India is already crossed the 4 trillion economy mark because exact data will come in next year. But in how much time we expect to become the 10 trillion economy or 20 trillion economy? Because yes, we are happy that we are rapidly growing, but China is 4 times or more than that, the larger economy than us. We cannot even talk about US because that is 30 trillion economy at the moment. So in how much time we can reach that mark of 10 trillion at least?
So again, this is another multi-layered question. So first of all, we are at 3.9 trillion as of March 2025. By March 2026, we would be somewhere around between 4.1 to 4.3 in dollar terms, because the exchange rate this year, the rupee has weakened.
Yes.
So the level of dollar GDP that we will get to by March 26 will be influenced by the exchange rate. But nonetheless, the International Monetary Fund projects that India will be a $6.6 trillion economy by March 2031. So by the middle of the next decade, we should be looking at the economy which is somewhere of the size of between 8 and $10 trillion, around 2036 or so. But please understand that these numbers are indicative, because the world is changing very rapidly. The certainties of the last 40 years of globalization, peaceful globalization, is giving way to fragmentation, a fractious world. Capital and trade flows are going to be segmented rather than integrated. So in all these aspects, therefore, prediction becomes that much more difficult and hazardous. I think we should focus more on, and this may sound very philosophical, but honestly, it's also practical. We should focus on all the right things that we need to do, whether it is investment in skilling, R&D, quality, innovation, competitiveness, and on the government side, deregulation and improving state capability to execute projects, etc. We need to do all of that. The outcomes will depend on a combination of these and external factors which are beyond our control. So I think we should use these milestones as some sort of inspirational targets, but it cannot be unlike in the case of a company whose variables are relatively limited in comparison to a nation of our size. So the target should not become a sort of an obsession. They have to be useful guiding post.
Sir, can you please name some structural reforms which we need to acquire in recent future so that we can achieve okay, we are not getting passionate about the goals, but still, what will be the structural reforms?
No, the structural reforms, most of them are in the area of factors of production, which is land and labor. So the labor code is a very important milestone here, and states have already been at it. Now the union government notifying it gives them a further elbow room or degrees of freedom to go further, because our focus should be not just on, I'm not saying it should not be, our focus should be equally on creating jobs as it is to protect the rights of those who already have a job. So that's a trade-off that we have to maintain, and the labor codes enable the employers and the employees to strike the right balance between preserving and protecting the rights of those who have a job to protecting the rights of people to have a job. So both need to be balanced. The other is land reforms, which is about especially land use conversion, which is a state government domain. Much of the delays and the expense involved in setting up factories is due to the land use conversion difficulties and challenges. The third area of structural reform will also be in ensuring power generation and distribution being economically viable. That is another area which is in the domain of states. The fourth structural reform area is not a reform as such, a policy priority I would call it, is not only skilling and education, but also in ensuring the emotional, mental and physical health of our youth. And that is where much of the work needs to happen.
ABP न्यूज़ आपको रखे आगे।